Good morning. I'm Govindarajan, BGR, CEO of Royal Enfield. Warm welcome to all of you to the presentation of Royal Enfield today. At our stall today, we have stable of new motorcycles which are on display. The Bullet 350, a 90 years legacy with the super refined J engine. And we have new colorways in Meteor 350, new colorways in our Interceptor and Continental GT, and King Nerd collaboration Hunter HNTR motorcycles too. But today, the focus and the center stage is all about much awaited motorcycle in the adventure world, is Royal Enfield's all-new Himalayan. This all-new Himalayan motorcycle, and to talk about that, we brought the mighty Mountain into the Milan. Over the years, our relationship and our connection to the Himalayas has been building on. Our relationship with the Himalayas have been for about 2 decades. In 1956, in fact, Indian Army wanted about few hundred motorcycles, and that came from the Redditch, UK. That's where it was actually manufactured at that point of time. Those motorcycles which are built in India, and it was handed over to the Indian Army, which was used in the very treacherous ranges of the Himalayas. Since then, our connection with the Himalayas has gone up over the years. We have been riding in the Himalayas. Himalayas is actually the spiritual home for Royal Enfield. We get inspiration from Himalayas, and all our motorcycles are also inspired by the Himalayas. In 2016, we actually came out with a motorcycle. It's a purpose-built with our experience and inspiration from Himalayas, is the Himalayan motorcycle. And that motorcycle, with its capabilities, has actually created a big movement in the entire motorcycling, especially in the adventure motorcycling categories. Over the years, there is a lot of evolution which are taking place from a consumer requirement, from the Himalayas, the way the company is operating, everything is evolving. And the Himalayan also got evolved over a period of time. To talk to you about the evolution, the man who led from the front, Siddharth Lal, Managing Director and Aisha Motors, has a small video for all you people about the evolution. The video, please. Ladies and gentlemen, That's Siddharth Lal, who was leading the entire evolution of the new Himalayan. And we are going to present to you the all-new Himalayan here in flesh, first time, built by the Himalayas. You'll see the motorcycle, which has everything you wanted, but nothing you don't need for the adventure motorcycling. The motorcycle has been built with the core DNA of Himalayan, which is supposed to be accessible, adaptable, capable, and on top of it, with the inputs which we gain from the polar explorers, globetrotters, and athletes. With that input, the entire all-new Himalayan has been done. We call this motorcycle as Bruce Lee in the motorcycling, adventure motorcycling world. You can ask me why is it Bruce Lee? Before Bruce Lee, when you talk about a capability, it was always all about big, mighty, intimidating. That's how it was. Whereas Bruce Lee is all about agility, balance, precision, and the high capabilities. And that's what is this all-new Himalayan, which fits in there. And that's why we call it as Bruce Lee of our adventure motorcycling in the motorcycling world. To talk about more on what is there in this motorcycle and what has gone in the motorcycle, what is the philosophy, what are all the new technologies which are got added. As I mentioned, what is required, which just got added, what is not required, you won't see it in this motorcycle because that's how the adventure motorcycle have to be conceived. To talk to you about the details, now I'm going to request Mark Wells, our Chief of Design, to come on stage, please. Mark Wells, over to you.
Thanks very much, Govin. Thank you. So thanks, everyone, for having us here today. So yeah, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the bike and where it came from. Obviously, when we started this project, we looked at everything that made the original Himalayan so great, and we were very keen not to lose any of that DNA, any of that core kind of ability that the bike had. We just wanted to give it more. So there's three elements I'm going to talk to you about today. So number one, I'm going to talk about the engine. I'm going to talk about the chassis and the communications part on the bike. So if we move on, we're going to talk about the engine to start with. So the heart of this motorcycle is the all-new Sherpa 450 engine. This is a brand new engine for Royal Enfield, ground up. And we started from first principles, clean sheet of paper design. This is our first water-cooled engine. And we worked in a very collaborative manner at the beginning of the project. There we go. So that is the all-new Sherpa 450 engine. So as I say, we worked at the very beginning of this project with the team collaboratively to think about how we laid this out. We were really careful about the positioning and the location of component parts. And we focused on a whole bike approach. So we did things like we moved the airbox up over the top of the engine to make the waist of the bike very narrow. We worked to think about what the bike wanted to do. That was really important to us. So, looking at some of the features, we've got ride-by-wire for the first time on this bike. So we've got rider modes for the first time, so we can have full power and then a slightly more sedate version. We've got ABS on, ABS off. We've got a 6-speed gearbox in this bike for the first time, which gives lovely tractability. The way this bike rides, the way it delivers its power. If we go on to some of the torque curves, so you can see here, looking at the torque curve, and I think this is really important. So maximum power on this bike is 40 brake horsepower, 40.2 brake horsepower, and 40 newton meters of torque. But the really key thing is if you look at where it develops the torque. So we're getting nearly 90% of the torque at about 3,000 RPM. That is so good when you're riding off-road. When you need, you come to a river crossing, or you're maybe in the wrong gear. The ability to be able to keep gear and just drive over with the traction is so good, and it makes this bike so tractable, so usable. We've also got, just going forward onto the next slide. So also this bike works, we say it fits like an adventure glove. So looking at the layout, we've got a 21-inch rim up front. Now that 21-inch rim, that allows you to move over the rocks, over the boulders, over the obstacles. But it also, with the guys in the vehicle dynamics team have worked really hard to make sure this bike works really well on road. So although we've got a 21-inch rim up front, when you're on the twisties, when you're on the good tarmac, the bike handles, it responds beautifully well. You wouldn't know you were riding a bike with a 21-inch rim. You then, all of a sudden, the road disappears, the road turns into potholes or broken road. The bike then just soaks it up, and that comes from the suspension. So we have this fantastic upside-down big piston fork setup, which works really well off-road, absorbs all the bumps, all the shocks. You know, for us, this is a really big step forward in the motorcycle. We've also got adjustable seat heights. So we've got 2 adjustable seat heights. We work really hard with the ergonomics to get the standing position as good as possible, and to get the stand over as good as possible, and get your ground access. This was one of the things that on the original bike was really popular, was the ability to get both feet flat on the ground and give you that confidence when you were crossing rocks and streams and rivers and so on. And so we've pushed to get the seat height as low as possible. We've got 200 mm of suspension travel from that suspension, and really good ground clearance. So again, when you're traversing over obstacles, fantastic ground clearance. This bike is really, really good off-road from that point of view. Again, by moving the airbox up front, we've also got a very high air intake, which is great for water crossing, river wading, that sort of thing. And then finally, I'm going to move on to the tripod. So when we started this, one of the things we talked about is we wanted to remain elegant and simple. But we found that, you know, people mount their mobile phones to their handlebars all the time, and then they fall off, or the vibrations destroy the camera gimbal. So we said we want everything that you can get from that, but on the dash. So we've worked really hard. We've worked directly with Google to develop this. Is a world first. It's the first round TFT. It's the first with this mirror casting with Google developed together. So you can use your phone. You can put in your destination on Google Maps, and that then displays on the phone. You also get your music. You've got your joystick here, so you can scroll through your tracks. You can adjust your volume. You get incoming messages and calls. It means everything you want in a very simple, very elegant system, and it keeps you connected, and it doesn't distract from the ride. And I think that's a really, really key feature of this. I think that really covers it all. We've got, in terms of accessories, you can see this bike is fully accessorized. We've got a wide range of accessories from our genuine motorcycle accessories team. In 2 variants, so we've got what we're calling the off-road pack, and then we've also got the rally pack. So we've got a different seat unit that you can see on the bike behind us here. You can see some of the accessories there. But yeah, so you know, a real ability to accessorize and customize this bike to give you the complete package, the complete experience. So we are really, really very proud of this motorcycle. I think this really sets a new standard globally. And yeah, so thank you very much. Oh. Colours. We've got lots of colours. I didn't talk about the colours. So when we were looking at the colours, I can see Darlene over there looking at me. When we were looking at the colours, we looked and took inspiration from the Himalayas. We looked around us, we looked at the colours from the mountains, the colours from the rivers, and that gave us these colourways. So we've got the poppy blue, we've got the Kazakh brown, we've got the Kamet white, and then we've got the Hanley black, thank you. They really complement the bike and the positioning. So with that, I'm going to hand you back to Govind. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mark. That's the all-new...
Thank you.
That's the all-new Himalayan, the expression of the evolution from Royal Enfield. You know, we love Himalayas. We are obsessed with the terrain. We don't think about the exploration for today. We always think about tomorrow, the future, and forever. So the riders who take our motorcycle and the spiritual home of Himalayas, what we are working on is an ecosystem of a sustainable exploration in the Himalayas. Let me just tell you what does it mean. We work with the community at the Himalayas very intensely in actually enhancing their livelihood. We are very committed to that. We also create pit stops at the Himalayan range for our riders and for the explorers to have an access for a clean drinking water and a sanitation system. And the whole green pit stop is actually done with the green energy in the full mind, and that's how we look at and building the green pit stops. Also, we are working with the entire riding community and the explorers on leaving every place clean and better, and promoting not using a single-use plastics at the Himalayas. Apart from that, we also have collaborated with the UNESCO for preserving the heritage properties in Himalayas. In the entire ecosystem, which we talked about, pit stops, UNESCO collaborations, community building, we have one more, which is actually the sustainable mobility with the electric vehicle, and which Royal Enfield is working on. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure you all will be looking at what is this motorcycle which is covered in this place, and that is going to be actually discussed and talked about by Mario Alvaisi, my colleague here, who is the Chief Growth Officer for Electric, and he will walk you through the whole thing.
Thank you, BGR. Thank you so much. Ciao a tutti, buongiorno. As the first Italian speaker of the day, this is the first press conference of the day. I welcome all of you to this beautiful country, right, Italy. And today, as you saw, we brought the Himalayas to Italy. So we are very excited because of that, but not just because of that. I'm very excited to be here with all of you because we are going to unveil something, a glimpse of the future, right, together. And yeah, and this is what we're going to unveil today. But so before we start, just a few words. So with evolving terrains and conditions and rider motivation, sustainable mobility is evolving as well, as you know. And so at Royal Enfield, we started creating a vision for the future. Not because we had to. This is very important for us. Not because regulations are changing, not because laws are changing, but because we are passionate to create a non-compromised experience that would inspire generations to come. So we want to show how sustainable exploration and Himalayan adventure could create a richer and deeper exploration experience and ultimately create a guiding light for long-term sustainable travel. And this is what we're talking about. So ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the electric Himalayan test bed. So this is much more than just a concept design. As you can see, this is a full laboratory. This is our vision for the future. So the Royal Enfield electric Himalayan test bed has been a project that has constantly evolved, and it will evolve, and uses rapid prototyping and iterative design to stretch the limits of what is possible today. It is built with the Royal Enfield design ethos and combines the simplicity and Spartan character of the Himalayan with the advantages of an electric powertrain. Everything started from a group of people inside the company that are passionate about pure motorcycling, are passionate about creating the future. And so they started working together on this. It's a bottom-up project. It's a motorcycle built from the people to the people. And they started from a simple question. What if we can create a bike that encourages exploration by reducing the stress on the rider and the stress on the environment? We can augment the exploration experience by allowing the rider to feel This is very important. To feel the soundtrack of the Himalayas, the voices in the villages, the sound of the river, the sound of wind through to the desert land. And you know what? They did it. So, as you could see in the video, this bike has been tested in the Himalayas heavily. So we picked the harshest conditions, basically to test our new technology, the technology that we want to bring to many different bikes in the future. And then the team has done an extensive wind tunnel testing to improve efficiency and ride experience. So this is for Royal Enfield the first step of a bigger adventure. There is a much larger electric mobility blueprint that is being brought alive at Royal Enfield as we continue to work on multiple electrifying expressions of pure riding, pure motorcycling. We have a fast-growing team of engineers, designers, and technical experts working on electric vehicles and future mobility, and the best is yet to come. So this is a lab. This is a glimpse of the future. You're going to see a lot of new concepts coming in the next few months, so get ready for that. But today is all about this bike, the new Himalayan VGR. Thank you.
Thank you, Mario. That's about the future of the sustainable electrical mobility from Royal Enfield, the test bed, which is being ridden at the Himalayas. But today, the all Himalayan built by the Himalayas. Mark spoke to you about the features of the motorcycle. Once the motorcycle were built, as a set of riders, we always wanted to test it in the rough terrains. So the motorcycle was built at our world-class manufacturing facility at India. I first picked up the first lot of motorcycle, and we started testing it from Chennai to the highest motorable pass, Umlingla, from 22 feet. That's a sea level to the summit at about 19,024 feet. And to just show you about the testing as what we call as one last test before it is taken to the consumers. Hello. Can we have the video, please?
Three motorcycles, 4,600 kilometers, 24 riders, and